Some pots that I made were not very successful. There were some ugly tiny holes on the surface, especially on white underglaze. Therefore, I couldn't sell them. I should have done some tests before applying underglazes on my pots. Hours of carefully making these pots were a waste. I did blame myself and even blame others. But more importantly, I've learned a lesson. When you were a child, in art lessons, you didn't need to do any experiment with your art supplies before using them because the art class itself was a laboratory for you to discover the miracle of color pigments, clay, and various tools around. If your art teacher was a great teacher, she wouldn't force you to do anything seriously, as if you were in an art competition. Instead, she encouraged you to try new things, make errors, and learn from those experiences. In another word, there's no need to test anything. When I was a kid, I could draw whatever I wanted. I don't remember exactly how my art teacher reacted back then, but she definitely was not happy about that freedom. Because one time, when she gave the topic piece to the whole class, I draw a tank with a Vietnamese flag and got a very low grade for that drawing. Go back to adulthood. We are very ambitious, aren't we? You and me, we want what we do to be successful. We don't want to waste our time, effort, and resources. So we need to test before doing our projects. The cheaper and faster, the better. This is not only a mandatory step during the process, but also in many cases, it hardens us. Take my pottery failure for example. By properly preparing, I can sharpen my sketching skills, my project management skills, and my carefulness. Without these characteristics, I will not create any masterpiece. On top of that, I don't want to waste my life. We can also do chips tests in our lives as well. I'm sure you're also doing these things. When you want to do something big, you do small one first. I've always wanted to make some woodworking project, such as furniture for my place. I even think about building a new house by my own hands, with some help from experts, of course. The first thing I did was to buy a driller set, which only cost equivalent of a pair of headphones. Then I completed some small projects, like tightening some loose screws of tables and chairs, and installing displaying shelves at my studio. When you want to experience something for long, you try it in a short amount of time first. I used to think I could be a potter, so I spent 9 months practicing pottery last year. For you, that might seem long, but it was fair for me to have a clearer vision for my career. Another example is how I choose where to live. Now I'm living in Hue City, which is a very famous destination for tourists. I think this might be my new hometown, so I decided to live here for 1 year before any further decision. At first glance, it was peaceful, with beautiful views of old buildings, riversides, traditional arts and crafts, and people were very friendly. I was impressed how locals looked I was impressed how locals took care of their houses and neighborhoods because everything looked clean and neat. After a couple of months living here, I saw some downsides of this place, which explain why there are not many people from other provinces come here to live. Some sellers discriminate people who are not locals by offering higher prices. The weather is boiling hot, and it's better to have a good shelter. Otherwise, you will spend your whole day doing nothing but cooling yourself. I still have 6 months left to decide whether or not I want to stay here. Things might change. For example, I can have more support from people here, and my body can adapt to the harsh weather. What if you don't want to make any test because there's no need to do so? What if you don't want to be serious when doing something? Well, it's up to you. You have the right to decide what should be serious. You are the only one who can decide whether or not you should make the test first. If you don't have that right, or you feel you can't control your work, therefore your life is miserable, you need to take actions sooner or later. When we do small and cheap tests, we expect our project will be a success. But when it goes wrong, we often have many negative emotions: regret, anger, shame, fear, doubt. Someone might say, the pain helps us grow. For me, the pain is the signal to take actions. We shouldn't misuse the negative emotions as fuel to move forward. That's not healthy. In contrast, we should learn from our mistakes and let the negative emotions disappear. So, next time, when you see an imperfect mug, you can imagine the chaos but beautiful emotional transition inside the craftsman. He may have talked to herself. What a waste! I have spent hours on this mug. I should have done the preparation better. Now I know I could enjoy my morning with a hot cup of coffee.